Let's start at the beginning, as context is important. My context starts in Ohio, where I was born and raised. I spent the majority of my formidable years in the countryside that bounded the capital city. The area was still mostly farmland when my family first moved there, and there just wasn't a lot out there. Corn and soybeans, abandoned barns, long stretches of empty roadways. Not much of anything, really, to speak of. It was a happy place to grow up, for the most part, for those of us who were lucky enough to live there, and to experience a young life full of carefree abandon and an abundance of nature, everywhere the eye turned. My parents sacrificed a lot, probably more than I can ever really know, and they did this to provide a home for my siblings and I in this lovely neighborhood. My best friend lived just 5 doors down, and together we spent endless hours playing at the creek behind this house, watching satellites streak overhead on summer nights, playing street hockey with the neighborhood kids in the afternoons. Idyllic is a term that comes to mind when I think back to my time growing up here. I was lucky, really lucky to have parents who loved me and worked hard to provide for our family. I mean, just look at how beautiful that area is. It's gorgeous. But as idyllic as it was, sadly, I just never really felt like I belonged. Continually, I felt restless and somewhat out of place, a feeling that was amplified after my trips abroad to Honduras, to Haiti, to Japan and even just in the country to cities like New York and LA. This mind-expanding travel afforded me by this very life I felt continually awkward in. I'd always wanted to live somewhere else, to experience somewhere else. And given the opportunity, I just leapt at the chance. But leaving this area I'd grown up, leaving my parents, leaving my friends, my dearest friends, lifelong friends, it was really hard. It was really hard for me. But I needed to go somewhere else. I had a choice to make. I could either stay where I was, it was beautiful, it was nice, or I could go. I could go look somewhere else. And so I chose to move. And so I left Ohio in a car full of my belongings and started west, ultimately landing in San Francisco 5 days later, where I discovered who I would eventually become. I felt much more comfortable, no longer awkward, but that was short-lived. Just about a year later, I was in Atlanta, and I was there for 8 years, where life afforded me many more twists of fate, and I was but along for the ride. I was there 8 years hiking and exploring, still feeling fairly out of place, but now out of doors most days. Yet my journey was not yet finished, and another life move was in store for me. I traded in the dirt of the hiking trail for the sand of the beach, my hiking shoes for shorts, the rustling of leaves in autumn for the gentle lapping of ocean waves against the coral of the Keys in Florida Bay. So I came here to Miami, alone, knowing no one at all, a solitary person in a large and bustling metropolitan city, rather anonymous then. I had again left dear friends behind in ATL for another adventure. So being alone, I explored the city a little bit at a time, sometimes on foot, mostly by car. But this method somehow always left me with the feeling of having viewed the city, not being of the city. I just felt apart from it. Yes, I was here in the setting, but I wasn't experiencing it really like I thought. It was beautiful. I still felt detached from it. Keep in mind this timeline. I had been here 2 years before the pandemic hit, and now this third year of living in Miami with this pandemic, watching this horrible year unfold, but still in this weird, beautiful setting. It was in the midst of this no good, horrible, bad year I made the choice to get back to something I loved very much. Something I'd remembered 15 years prior. Something I've always enjoyed and that provided me this way of feeling like every day was an exploration and every day was a thing to look forward to. I bought another motorcycle, 15 years in the making, waiting for that specific feeling of freedom again that only a motorcycle can provide. I'd waited such a long time, an interminable feeling of waiting, and now here I was riding around the city, seeing things as if for the first time again, seeking out new sights and experiences on pavement or dirt tracks. I was no longer viewing the city from inside of a glass box. I was almost in it, experiencing it again as beautiful moments laid out before my two wheels. I'm KFoto, and I ride a moto. Not that I have any idea what I'm doing.